Clumsy aliens killed a human dog, so Earth unleashed its ancient warship, the Dreadnought, to kill all the fucking aliens. Two Andromedan diplomats, Orin and Xylac, sat rigid and nervous in a dimly lit remote space station bar. Orin stared deep into his drink. "I can't believe it, Xylac. That fucking idiot Crux, that stupid piece of shit, killing a human's pet dog." "I told the High Council we needed to learn human culture, before any contact," Xylac replied. His antennae twitched with anxiety. These humans, they bond so strongly with animal companions. "That's not even the worst part." Orin gulped his bioluminescent alcohol. The human Christian Mason didn't cry, didn't beg, just looked at Crux, said, "You have no idea what you've done." Xylac leaned in. "What happened next? The Council's reports are vague." Orin whispered. "Mason transmitted to Earth. A massive warship appeared above our colony, dwarfing our fleet. Weapons we can't comprehend. The humans call it the Dreadnought." Xylac shuddered. "Fuck, our entire species is doomed." Xylac's entire body shook as he processed the enormity of what Orin had just told him. His antennae quivered, with a mix of awe and terror. "The Dreadnought," he whispered, his voice cracking. "What kind of technology powers such a behemoth?" Orin shook his head, his eyes distant. "Our scans showed it was powered by something the humans called a singularity drive. We couldn't even begin to understand it. And its weapons, Xylac. They made our most advanced plasma cannons look like toys." Xylac leaned back in his chair, his mind reeling. "But that wasn't the most shocking part, was it?" Orin took another swig of his drink, his hand trembling slightly. "No, it wasn't. The most shocking part was what happened next. The Dreadnought hailed our colony, and a human appeared on the screen. It was Christian Mason, but he was different. He was wearing some kind of advanced power armor, and his eyes, they burned with a cold, righteous fury." Xylac leaned forward, his voice barely a whisper. "What did he say?" Orin closed his eyes, recalling the moment. He said, "People of the Andromedan Empire, you have committed an act of war against the Earth Federation. By killing my dog, you have shown a blatant disregard for the sanctity of life and the bonds we share with our companions. But we are not like you. We do not seek conquest or subjugation. We offer you a choice: surrender unconditionally and face trial for your crimes, or face the full might of humanity's wrath." Xylac's eyes widened in disbelief. "And what did our leaders do?" Orin laughed bitterly. "What could they do? They surrendered, of course. They had no choice. The Dreadnought alone could have wiped out our entire fleet. And so the Andromedan Empire, the greatest power in the galaxy, was brought to its knees by a single human and his love for his dog." Orin nodded solemnly, his eyes distant as he recalled the events that followed. "It was surreal, Xylac. Mason and his delegation arrived on Andromeda Prime, and they were greeted with a mix of fear, curiosity, and awe. Our people had never seen humans up close before, and they were struck by their strange appearance and powerful presence." Xylac leaned in, his antennae twitching with interest. "What did they do first? Did they make any demands or issue any ultimatums?" Orin shook his head. "No, that's the thing. They didn't come as conquerors or overlords. They came as guests. They asked to tour our cities, to visit our museums and libraries, to meet with our scholars and artists. It was like they wanted to learn everything they could about us." Xylac frowned, puzzled. But why? What could they possibly gain from studying our culture? Orin's voice took on a tone of wonder. "That's just it, Xylac. They weren't studying us to exploit us or find our weaknesses. They were studying us because they were genuinely fascinated by our civilization. They marveled at our architecture, our poetry, our scientific achievements. They said that despite our differences, we had created things of beauty and meaning, just like they had." Xylac's eyes widened as he began to understand. "So, they didn't see us as inferior or primitive. They saw us as equals." Orin nodded, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Exactly. And it wasn't just lip service either. They treated us with respect and dignity, even after everything that had happened. They listened to our stories, shared their own, and worked with us to find common ground. Xylak shook his head in disbelief. I never thought I'd see the day when humans would treat us as anything other than enemies or subjects. It's incredible. Orin leaned back in his chair, his eyes shining with a newfound hope. It is, Xylak, and it's not just us. The humans have been reaching out to other species across the galaxy, seeking to build bridges and forge alliances based on mutual understanding and respect. They say that the universe is too vast and too wondrous for any one species to claim dominion over it. Xylak's antennae quivered with excitement. So what happens now? What does this mean for the future of the Andromedan Empire and the galaxy as a whole? Orin's expression turned thoughtful. That's the big question, isn't it? The humans have shown us a new way of thinking, a new way of being. They've opened our eyes to the possibility of a galaxy where species work together instead of against each other, where we celebrate our differences instead of fearing them. But it won't be easy. There are still those among us who cling to the old ways, who see the humans as a threat to be eliminated. Xylak nodded grimly. I know. But maybe, just maybe, we can learn from the humans' example. Maybe we can start to see ourselves and each other in a new light. As Orin spoke, Xylak leaned forward, his eyes wide with wonder. They really shared all that knowledge with us, just like that. Orin nodded, his voice filled with admiration. They did, Xylak. They brought teams of scientists and engineers to work alongside our own, teaching us about technologies we had only dreamed of. They showed us how to harness the power of our star to generate clean, limitless energy, how to design cities that worked in harmony with nature, how to grow crops that could thrive in even the harshest environments. Xylak shook his head, marveling at the generosity of the humans. And they didn't ask for anything in return. No concessions, no treaties, no pledges of loyalty. Orin chuckled. Oh, they asked for something, all right. But it wasn't what you might expect. They asked for our friendship, Xylak. Our trust. They wanted us to join them in building a better future for all sentient beings, not just humans or Andromedans. Xylak's antennae twitched with excitement. A network of peaceful cooperation across the galaxy. I never thought I'd live to see such a thing. But with the humans leading the way, it feels like anything is possible. Orin leaned back in his chair, a contented smile on his face. You know, I met Mason myself, just before he left Andromeda Prime. I asked him why he was doing all this, why he was being so kind to us after what we had done. And do you know what he said? Xylak shook his head, his eyes riveted on Orin's face. Orin's voice grew soft, almost reverent. He said, in the grand scheme of things, we're all in this together. We're all just tiny specks in the vastness of the universe trying to find our way. And the only way we'll make it is if we help each other along the way. Xylak felt a lump form in his throat, a swell of emotion rising in his chest. That's beautiful, Orin. And so true. We've spent so long seeing ourselves as the center of the galaxy, as the pinnacle of civilization. But the humans, they've shown us that there's so much more to life than conquest and domination. Orin raised his glass, the liquid inside glowing softly in the dim light of the bar. To a new beginning, then. To a future where we stand side by side with the humans and all the other species of the galaxy, working together to create something greater than any of us could achieve alone. Xylak clinked his glass against Orin's, a sense of purpose and determination filling his heart. To a new beginning, he echoed, and to the incredible potential of the human spirit. Xylak stares into his drink, his antennae twitching with unease. I have a bad feeling about this, Orin. If Mason went after Crux, he shudders. I don't even want to think about what he might have done. Orin nods grimly. I know it's a dark thought, but we have to face the possibility. He leans back in his chair, his eyes distant. I've seen the way humans react when their loved ones are harmed. They don't just get angry, they get focused, single-minded, like nothing else matters but setting things right. Xylak sighs heavily, and with the kind of technology they have, the resources at their disposal, If Mason really wanted to find Crux, he could do it, easily. Exactly. Orin's voice is somber. And what then? Would he bring Crux to justice, or would he... He trails off, unable to finish the thought. Xylac's eyes widen. You don't think Mason would kill him, do you? Orin is silent for a long moment. I don't know, Xylac, I really don't. The humans, they have this saying, an eye for an eye. It means that if someone wrongs you, you have the right to wrong them back in the same way. And losing a beloved pet, that's the kind of thing that can push even the most compassionate person over the edge. Xylac shakes his head, his heart heavy. I hope you're wrong, Orin. I hope Mason is better than that, because if he's not, if he lets his anger consume him, then everything he's worked for, all the progress we've made, it could all be for nothing. Orin stands, his chair scraping against the floor. I guess we'll never know for sure, but one thing I do know is that the humans have changed the game. For better or for worse, the old rules don't apply anymore. We're in uncharted territory now, and we'll have to find our own way forward. Xylac nods, a sense of determination settling over him. You're right. The humans have shown us a new path, a better way. It's up to us to follow it, to honor the trust they've placed in us, even if it means facing some hard truths along the way. Orin places a hand on Xylac's shoulder, his grip firm and reassuring. Whatever happens, we'll face it together, as friends, as allies, as part of something greater than ourselves. That's the legacy the humans have given us, and it's one I intend to live up to. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.